Hello and welcome. This is Roy at Ninja's90, and today I will be doing a double figure comparison on the NECA Godzilla King of the Monsters Godzilla 2019 V2 figure and the Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic Godzilla vs. Kong Godzilla 2021 Heat Ray version. And as you can see, these figures sport similar color schemes, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. Going over both these figures and looking at the similarities and differences between the two. So, with that said, let's get started. And now here we have both the NECA Godzilla King of the Monsters Godzilla 2019 V2 figure and the Godzilla vs. Kong Godzilla 2021 Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic Heat Ray version figures right here before us in all of their supercharged glory. As you can see, both these figures are sporting very similar color schemes, as you can see. And that's what I'm here to talk about, because I noticed, yeah, these figures are wholly similar, and they are kind of both heat ray versions. Yeah, they do come with heat rays, although this one comes with a swappable head in order to apply that heat ray, and this one you just plug the heat ray into the mouth. Of course, two different heat ray effect ports. Did not bring them out for this video, because, I mean, I'm mainly going over the figures and not their accessories. But anyway, as you can see, I would have to say that the NECA is more of a darker color scheme than the Hiya. But we do see both figures are sporting some metallic blue on the chest and on the belly there, so that is pretty cool. But I would say the NECA is sporting even more metallic blue dry brushing if you look at the arms and on the legs, and even, you know, the sides of the figure as well. It's just sporting a lot of metallic blue and white dry brushing, you know, all throughout the dorsal spines as well, which is giving them like this very shiny, glossy, you know, icy blue, silvery color, whereas the Hiya Toys is, you know, it does sort of have that icy blue vibe, but it's more of sort of like the normal, like, regular heat ray colorization, with like some darker blue at the tips of the dorsal spines, where you do see a little bit of that white dry brushing, like right at the edge of the dorsal spines, like right where they're coming out of his back, like right there, where, you know, you see a lot more of that white dry brushing on the NECA. So, you know, as the paint apps on these figures are, you know, a lot different, but not that far from one another, though. They are relatively close in color scheme. And also, I did notice the Hiya Toys figure, the eyes are, I'm trying to get that in focus, are basically a very bright white colorization, if you can look at that, if I can get him in focus. So I'll bring that in so you can see how it's like his eyes are like a glowing bright white, where on the NECA, as you can see in contrast, they are actually a shiny silver. So there is the comparison with the NECA. Also, I mean, the size comparison with these figures are obviously different, and we're looking at two different price ranges here. The NECA obviously, I mean, the Hiya obviously being the newer figure. Excuse me, getting my brands mixed up there for a second. And this one obviously being the older figure. Official retail, this one would have been cheaper, but yeah, on a secondary market, unless you're just buying like bootlegs from like Etsy or Wish or something, on a secondary market, you are going to be paying out of the bouquet for a NECA figure, which isn't worth it by that point. For what you're going to pay for a NECA Godzilla figure on the secondary aftermarket, say like eBay or Amazon, you can get a Hiya Toys figure for like around the same price, if not less. So think about that. Anyway, sculpting with both these figures are obviously different. Articulation wise, the Hiya Toys obviously has better articulation. So comparing articulation, starting with the head, the Hiya Toys obviously wins out. The head can look up a lot further. We can look down a little bit with the Hiya Toys. We can look right with the Hiya Toys. Can the NECA look right? A little bit. We can look left. Can the NECA look left? Yeah. And of course, we can do a full-on 360 cranium revolvus with both figures, as you are witnessing. So we do have that similarity of articulation in the head, except the Hiya has plenty more head articulation than the NECA. Arm articulation, very similar between both figures, but the Hiya does have a wider range of arm articulation, especially in the shoulder joints. Because the shoulder joints on the Hiya, we can bring them out about that far. The NECA, however, we can bring them out, well, actually, a good bit. So, yeah, arm articulation is, might actually be on point, might actually be on par with one another. So, that's, yeah, something to think about. Because I was sure that the Hiya had better arm articulation, but it seems that arm articulation between the Hiya and the NECA are equivalent. But anyway, we do have a elbow swivel, as well as on the Hiya, as well as on the NECA version. My bad, getting my brands mixed up again. Yeah, I guess we could do that little UKCB John Cena action. So I guess we can use just as well if we got the hand up like that. But anyway, we can rotate the shoulders all the way around a full 360 with both figures, of course, as you are witnessing. So get that going. And of course, both figures do have single joints in both elbows, so we can bend those elbows forward and back. Both have elbow swivels, as I demonstrated. Both can swivel the hands and wrists all the way around a full 360. And we have hinges in the wrists on the NECA, and I don't think we have hinges in the wrists on the Hiya. So, the NECA version does have does have a hinge in the wrist, so it does have a point of articulation that the Hiya doesn't have, but the Hiya version is also supposed to have like interchangeable hands and stuff, and the NECA doesn't, so that probably also explains it. But getting to waist articulation, this is where the Hiya obviously wins. Waist articulation on the NECA not so much. We can like lean forward like a little bit, but it's not like that much. Whereas on the Hiya, yeah, you can see we can really get them to lean over, and both figures do have full 360 waist articulation, so we can rotate that torso all the way around a full 360 like so, with both figures with relative ease, although it might take a little bit of muscle grease, but I got it. You don't want to manhandle your figures too much because you don't want to break them. But anyway, moving right along down to leg articulation, starting with those hips of his. So also, this is where the Hiya Toys version wins out over the NECA version. The NECA version could only swivel forward and back, so we can only do a full 360 swivel with the NECA. And also, we do have some extra detailing on the NECA, the hips, because as you can see, we have like those like sort of like energized like lightning bolt, sort of like these blue like heat ray like energized veins going down his legs, as you can see on the NECA. And we do see some going across his, coming from his dorsal spines, going across his side right there. As you can see, we do have like those energized veins going across his rib cage there. And yeah, we don't have that on the Hiya. Would be cool if we did, but I still think this is a cool figure for what it is nonetheless. But anyway, getting back to leg articulation, the Hiya obviously has better leg articulation in the hips, because the hips can spread out on the Hiya like that much. We cannot spread out with the NECA at all, unless you want to snap the hip joints, and I do not want to do that, believe you me. And also, I do have to point out that the knees on the Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic resemble that of the knees on the SH Monstars Legendary Godzillas, while yeah, the NECA Legendary Godzillas are just have a single jointed knee, as you can see. But anyway, getting back to hip articulation, as you can see, we can spread out like that, and of course we can rotate them all the way around a full 360, and of course the opposite way. Same is true with the other leg. And back around. And of course, knee articulation, like I was just talking about. The NECA single jointed knee, we can only bend it forward and back like so. Although if we bend it forward, we do get a good range of motion. And we do have some swivels in the knees as well, so we can swivel those knees all the way around a full 360. But yeah, I don't understand why anybody would do that, but you can. And also, we do have ankle articulation. We can point those toesy woesies forward like so, and then back like so. And we can rotate them all the way around a full 360, as well as the other foot. So, there you have it. And for the rest of the leg articulation on the Hiya Toys Godzilla 2021 Heat Ray version, we can bend his legs back like so, forward again, and yeah, we can just do more articulation with those legs on the Hiya. And of course, we can point those toes forward like so. Same we can do with the NECA. Point them up and rotate them all the way around like so, as you are witnessing. And now moving on to tail articulation, and this is where things get a bit interesting, because tail articulation is some of the best parts on highly articulated Godzilla figures, because they are just fun to play around with. because yeah, it's just fun to fidget with, put it that way. Because I don't know, there's something about tails on Godzilla figures like this that's just strangely satisfying. But anyway, tail articulation on the NECA, we can move it that far to the right, we can bend it about that far to the left. As you can see, we do have a good range of articulation on the NECA. We can bend it up like somewhat, not too much. We can bend it down about that much. So we are getting a good range, so that is pretty good. And also, we do have very fluid tail motion, as you can see. And we can put him in a swimming pose, although, yeah, I gotta rotate his legs. So although if you're gonna put the NECA in a NECA figure, well, NECA legendary Godzilla figures in a swimming pose, their legs are going to be coming out at like a big diagonal angle. So it's not gonna be like an accurate swimming pose, but that's the best. And their head's gonna be like tilted like down at an angle, but that's the best I can do for a swimming pose for a NECA figure. So yeah, so we're gonna kind of do like a swimming motion for him. So that's the best I can do with the NECA figure. And of course, the NECA, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points of articulation in the tail. And the Hiya, we have, it looks like we got a bit more. We got 1 segment here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. About the same as the NECA. But anyway, we can curl the tail about that far left. We can curl the tail about that far right. And let's grab the other the NECA, curl both those tails just to get a good look at it. So there you have it. So we can see how they fare. Trying to get it in focus. So yeah, it really compares really good to the NECA. Although the Hiya, like I said, a little bit more expensive in retail. But you do get more articulation though. So you can bend the tail down about that much and then back up. Oops, sorry, hit my camera. But as you can see, we do have a lot more of a fluid motion on the Hiya than what we do on the NECA. And also, we can also put him in a much better swimming pose. So, put his legs up, head up, and there you have it. So yeah. So yeah, that pretty much concludes it. As you can see, both these figures very similar. Both the Hiya and the NECA kind of almost looks like Daddy Goji and Godzilla Jr. Kind of like a legendary version of the two. If you really think of it, but yeah, that's really not the case here. It's basically the same exact Godzilla from the same series, just from 2 different movies. And of course, 2 figures made by 2 entirely different companies. But, you know, which figure is better? It's pretty much up for you to determine. But if I had to take a pick, I would have to say that the Hiya toys would be the best choice, first and foremost, mainly because, you know, has better detail, has better articulation, and of course, you know, both, you know, have jaw articulation. Now, the big difference with the NECA, and I forgot to go over this, is the tongue is articulated as well. But anyway, like I was saying, if I had to, you know, advise anybody to, you know, on a split between the two, I would say definitely go for the Hiya. It's a much better choice, better articulation, better detail. Plus, you are getting a better price from official retailers than buying this on a secondary market for an inflated markup. So yeah, do be careful. And also there's a lot of bootleggers out there that make a lot of bootleg counterfeits of NECA figures, and that's probably why you're going to see a lot of NECA bootlegs out there. And it's not just Godzilla figures. They make a lot of NECA bootlegs of a lot of stuff. There's a YouTube channel all about that called Real versus Fake. I've seen it. So, yeah, I never seen him cover Godzilla, like NECA Godzilla figures, but he covers like a bunch of like other like NECA figures from other franchises. So that's how I learned that there's a lot of counterfeit NECA stuff out there. So that's something to really keep in mind, you know, especially if you are a NECA collector looking for official figures, you know, is to make sure, you know, you buy them from official sources like Big Bad Toy Store, Target, your local Walmart, things like that. Maybe even GameStop if they have them. Try to avoid like third-party sites like for NECA figures, like eBay and Amazon at all costs. Now, of course, if you're going to shop on Wish or Etsy or AliExpress, of course, that's all they're going to have is bootlegs. So, you know, you're just purposely buying a bootleg by that point. So, I'm not telling you not to buy a bootleg if you shop on those sites, but I mean, it's your choice. It's your money. Spend it on whatever you want. But, you know, if it'd be up to me, I would hold that money and go for a Hiya. But anyway, guys, that pretty much concludes it for this figure comparison. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, as well as I hope you guys are ready to have a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all of you, because I love you guys and I appreciate you guys. And I want you to know that your viewership is much appreciated, your engagement is much appreciated, and your support is much appreciated. So that pretty much wraps it up for this video. And as always, love you all, stay safe, take care, God bless, stay powered up, stay positive, and peace out. And like and subscribe if you haven't already.